All right, so I have negative 7r to the 4th plus r cubed plus 9, a 4th degree trinomial. And like almost everybody had that, which is awesome. Okay, let's stop here. What questions? Any questions? Eventually you got to get that vocab memorized, okay? Because you can't use the your notes packet on the test. So eventually you got to try and get that memorized. I'm giving you lots of time. Okay. All right, any questions before we move on to multiplication? Okay. Multiplying. A is actually the hardest one. We're going to do it last, okay? So, do you remember last time where you guys were like, Summers, I like the arrows, and I was like, yeah, but let me show you this weird box thing because it makes things easier. Okay, so this is when it's going to make things easier, is when I have a binomial times a binomial, or sometimes a binomial times a trinomial, okay? So the box is just for organization. So if you're using arrows and you're getting problems right, then I don't care, you do that. But I always assume we're getting things wrong. And so I'm gonna do more organizing. Does that make sense? Okay. So how many terms for B is this first one? 2 terms, right? And how many terms is this one? 2. So I would draw a box and it would be a 2 by 2. See, for me, all these parentheses and plus signs and stuff, it's too overwhelming. That's why I like the organization of the box, because then I only have to deal with one little piece at a time, okay? So I'm going to take this first one, and each term is going to go above a piece. It doesn't matter which one is on the top or on the side. Any questions so far? Okay, so now for each box, I'm just going to use its length and its width to multiply them together, and just one at a time. I only have to think about one at a time, okay? So for this one right here, okay, I don't care about the -6 or the 2. All I care about is the B's, okay? Because those are the ones touching that side of the box, right? So what is 5 times 7? And then if I have so this basically, to get that one, I did 7b times 5b squared. So I have 35, and then how many b's are there total being multiplied together? 3. So it'd be 35b cubed. Okay, so then for this one, this next box, top right, all I'm going to use is the 7b and the 2, right? Because those are the ones that are represent how tall and how wide the box is. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay, so then what's 7b times 2? 14b. Good. Why didn't the b change on this one? The 2 didn't have a b. Perfect. Okay. Do you guys think you could finish out the square? Take 30 seconds and finish out the square. Okay, I got, is it 30b squared? Keep the negative, negative 30b squared. And then negative 12. Okay, good. Okay, so now how do I know what order to put them in? Look for the biggest exponent first, right? Biggest exponent first. So this one is a cubic 4-term polynomial. We're always going to be classifying today, mostly because I want to drill it in your brain so that I can try and help you memorize. Okay, what size would C's box be? Yep, regular 4 square. Okay, I want you to try and fill in the box. I'm just going to do a quick walk around to see if anyone is stuck. Okay. Okay, remember, you just do one piece at a time. Okay, you can use calculators or you can use that multiplication table I gave you. That looks perfect. Yeah, perfect. First step in fixing a problem is admitting there is one. First, yep. X squared first, Okay, so on this one, the X is here, right? And how the tallness of it, this part, it's going to be the negative 3x. Does that make sense? So all these lines are like negative 3x. So I'll do x times negative 3x. Does that help? Yep. And then there's one of them's negative, so and then there's an x, so negative 4x. Yes. Okay, so the one, this bottom left one, you see how the 4 and the negative 1 mean they don't have an x? No, you did so good. But you see how neither have an x? Yeah. And then on this one, try 3 times 4 again. Yeah. It's 12. 1 second here. Yeah. Am I really sure? I think so. Yeah. Well, it's close. You try adding those again. They're both negative. They're both negative, okay? No, it's going to go more negative. So then you want to make sure you go the light term. You don't want to combine those. No, it would be negative 13.
You had help from a teacher.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and finish it out. Okay, so negative 12x, negative 3x squared, negative 4, negative 1x. Now, as you go through this, make sure you put your biggest exponent first, but then sometimes I like to even cross them off as I go so I don't have to worry about it anymore, right? And then make sure you're checking like terms, right? So if I'm looking at these boxes, do you see how there's 2 x boxes? So negative 12 minus 1, it's going to go more negative. Minus 13x and then minus 4. Quadratic trinomial. Okay, so if we use wait, let's stop here. Any questions? Okay, if we use my box method, what would the dimensions of D be? Yeah, 2 and a 1. So again, I don't really care if you use the arrows, but the longer the parentheses get, the more likely it is you're going to mess up with the organization. So that's why I like the boxes. Okay? We'll be using these stupid boxes all year. Did I give you enough time to catch up fixing the last one and drawing the box for this one, or do you need more time? Another 10 seconds? Okay, what's 8 times 7? 56. Yeah. That's all right. I asked you because I didn't know. And you guys have calculators or multiplication tables in front of you. I always forget the 7s. Why are those the hardest ones? What? 9s are the easiest. I can do that numbers trick. You guys seen the 9s trick with your fingers?
7 was my favorite number as a kid.
Ah. W cubed. Hey, how come? Hey guys, how come on C, when I added the 12 and the 1 to get the negative 13x, how come the x didn't change? But how come on D, the W did change on this one? How do I know? How do I know when the variable changed or not? Back here, go ahead. They both have W's. Good. Okay, what else? Is that the only thing? Yeah, go ahead. So when you add or subtract, the exponent doesn't change. Okay? It's only when you multiply or divide that the exponent changes. Okay? And then timesing by 1 doesn't matter. So negative 56, that's not a 6. Negative 56 W cubed plus 7W. So cubic binomial. Okay, now let's look at the harder one, the hardest one, A. But what I want you to do is I want you to pretend like the negative isn't there, okay? So if I pretended like that negative isn't there, all right, it would be a 2 by 2. Again, the easiest way to deal with that negative is just to pretend it's not there. Don't we wish all things in life were like that? If it's hard, just pretend it's not there. Okay, finish the box and add up like pieces, and then I'll help you finish this one out. Just while I do a quick walk around, making sure you're doing all right. Okay, so fill out the box. Yes. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, if you're timesing, it stays negative. Yep. Perfect so far. Good job. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Here you go. Yep, at the end. Is this your final answer? Well, don't forget when there's 2 Y's. So that'll affect your like terms that you want to get together. Yeah, that's okay. I think. Oh, I thought it was 64. Okay. I do like these names weird. That's why. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. Oh my. Okay. Looks good. Good. Okay. Ladies, doing all right? So far so good. Yeah, so far so good. So the next step I haven't helped you guys with yet, so that's good. Yep. Okay, doing great.
Get it right.
I don't know. Yeah, good job. We're getting better. Okay. Okay. All right, let's finish out the box. Okay, so I've got 2y squared, negative 6y. You guys stay with me. We're super close to being done. 5y and negative 15. Okay, so now I pick my biggest exponent first, 2y squared. Okay, again, I like to cross off the boxes as I go just because then I don't have to keep track of what I've used. These are both y, right? Negatives suck. Is that going to be negative 1 or positive 1y? The 6 is bigger and it's negative, so it's going to be negative 1y. Okay, minus 15. Okay, so let's just stop here. What questions do you have so far? Anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay, now, yes.
How do we just ignore the negative? Like, is it?
What a good question. How do we just ignore the negative? Unfortunately, like all problems in life, when we ignore them, eventually we have to deal with them, right? Yeah. But we're going to deal with it now. So now,
So we just add the negative to it?
I multiply everything by a negative. So now I'm going to distribute that negative in. Because that negative, I could put it on hold just to make the problem a little easier, but now I have to give everything that negative. And it's a quadratic trinomial. So great question. I can't just pretend it doesn't exist forever. Okay, I just put it on hold just to make the problem a little easier. Okay? Does that make sense, you guys? 2/3 done with our lesson. Let's just stop here. Do you guys need a stretch break or do we just want to get through it? Huh? Get through it? Okay, we're almost done.